My greatest trick? Convincing my wife we need a Nintendo Switch for my kids. Welcome to a very special edition of The Apprentice, White House Edition. On this show, you don't get fired, you try to get hired. What a twist, right? Right? The job. Only the most powerful staff job in all of Washington. Chief of Staff to the President of the United States. Pretty big. Now, before we get to the contestants, let's remember how we got here. Donald Trump's first Chief of Staff was named Reince Priebus. He was the chairman of the Republican National Committee and someone the establishment thought might be able to tame Trump's worst instincts. Anywho, Priebus was gone within 6 months of taking the job, fired by tweet while the president was sitting on the tarmac in Washington on a rainy Friday night. Could that scene possibly have got more depressing? In Priebus's place came John Kelly, the decorated military man who had been leading the Department of Homeland Security and who was tapped by Trump to bring order and direction to an orderless and directionless White House. Kelly tried to do that, limiting Trump's open-door policy to any and every advisor who wanted to bend his ear. That included his eldest daughter, Ivanka, and her husband, Jared Kushner. That didn't sit well with Javanka. I still don't understand why that nickname has not caught on more. It's gold. And they reportedly spent the intervening months working to undermine Kelly, perfectly functioning White House. It worked, as Trump himself bristled at being managed and not being able to do exactly what he wanted at exactly the time he wanted to do it. By the summer of 2018, it was clear Kelly was on borrowed time. Trump made it official in December when he announced Kelly was leaving at the end of the year. Not clear that Kelly was briefed on that. Now, we all thought, and by we, I mean Donald Trump, that Nick Ayers, a boy wonder political strategist who had been working as Vice President Mike Pence's chief of staff, would quickly fill the void left by Kelly. But Ayers wanted to get back to his native Georgia, and we all know you can't be the White House chief of staff from Georgia. All of which brings us to where we are right now, which is nowhere. We did it. As in, Kelly is leaving around the first of the year, but we have no earthly idea, and by we, again, I mean Trump, who might replace him. Speaking of Donald Trump, he's been talking a lot lately about this very chief of staff job. Quote, I have at least 10, 12 people that want it badly, he told Reuters in mid-December. Quote, I'm making a decision. Great people. I could do it immediately. I'm in no rush. A lot of people want it. A lot of people want it. They want it badly. And no, Trump isn't overcompensating here. Not at all. You're the one overcompensating. Not him. You're the puppet. I won't go through all 10, 12 of the potential candidates for chief of staff because, well, there probably aren't 10 or 12 candidates for chief of staff. So, let's meet them. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. On the plus side for Mnuchin, he is someone who has a long personal relationship with Trump. That's good. And Trump respects Mnuchin's business acumen because he, like the president, has made a lot of money. That's also good. On the not-so-plus side, Mnuchin has already taken a ton of heat in the media for his love of private plane travel. And there was the whole thing with him and his wife Louise Linton looking like Boris Badenov and Natasha. Not great. Then there's Citizens United President David Bossie, and this one is interesting. Bossie was Trump's deputy campaign manager in 2016 and even wrote a book about that campaign called Let Trump Be Trump. Now look, it is what it is. Bossie has been kicking around conservative fever swamps for decades. He made his name, such as it is, for working with House Republicans during the impeachment proceedings against Bill Clinton. Our third option is Trump administration jack of all trades, Mick Mulvaney. That's Mick, not Nick. The former South Carolina congressman currently already has 2 jobs. He's the boss of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the director of the Office of Management and Budget. He's also one of the very few people who has thrived under Trump, due in no small part to the president believing that he's good on TV. The president watches a lot of TV. Now, what's the issue with Mulvaney? It's kind of that he doesn't want the job. Quote, he's not interested in chief of staff, a source close to Mulvaney told CNN. Quote, he has been saying for almost 2 months that he would be more interested in something like Commerce or Treasury if that's where the president needed him. Eek. And last, but certainly not least in our candidate search for Chief of Staff is Chris Christie. You know him from being the former governor of New Jersey. Now, no character arc in this reality TV presidency has been more fascinating than that of Christie. One of the first and only establishment figures to endorse Trump's campaign, Christie thought he would have his pick of cabinet spots. Except not, because Javanka isn't a big fan. Now, could this be the ultimate redemption story? The prodigal son returns. Trump does like those sorts of narratives. Second, third, fourth, fifth chances. So I wouldn't rule Christie out. Okay, we're down to it. Who will the president pick? Honestly, I don't really know.
Well, with Mark Meadows now out of the running, Christie would be the best story, and Trump does love a good comeback tale.
Even though this is Trump, and making predictions about what he'll do is like predicting what's next in the relationship between Cardi B and Offset. And that is the very hip point. We do this every week, twice. Stay tuned for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.